Hello and welcome to CoreTV News on the Arm. My name is Omotayo Alo. An aircraft belonging to the Nigerian Air Force has crashed at the site of the old Nigerian Defense Academy in Kaduna, northwest Nigeria. The craft was reported to have claimed the lives of 7 passengers on board. The helicopter involved was said to be heading to Abuja from the Nigerian Air Force base in Kaduna before it crashed 10 minutes after takeoff. We bring you details later. The presidency is welcomed an assurance from Centenary City PLC that all the regional inhabitants of the site have been fully compensated. Speaking after being briefed by the chairman of the company's board of directors, Abdulsalami Abubakar, and members of its management team, President Buhari praised the Centenary City's main development partners from the United Arab Emirates for having enough confidence in Nigeria to agree to invest about $18.5 billion in the project. President Buhari also welcomed the assertion by Abubakar and his team that the project will create about 250,000 more direct jobs in the Federal Capital Territory and about 500,000 indirect jobs. The president noted that skills, expertise and vast experience that will be brought into the country to build the Centenary City on the Dubai model will also be of immense benefit to Nigeria's overall development. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, who was also present at the briefing, said that the issue of the rights of the original inhabitant of the site acquired for the Centenary City had been of concern to the present administration. Abubakar and the management of the Centenary City also told President Buhari and Vice President Osinbajo that the project will totally be private sector driven. The main development partners behind the Centenary City project have assured President Muhammad Buhari that original owners of the site have been compensated. They also debunked allegations of fraud surrounding the initiative of the Jonathan administration. And speaking to State House correspondent after the meeting at the presidential villa in Abuja, the investors maintained that the $18.5 billion private project-driven project will be completed in record time.
As you all know, Centenary City is 100% private sector development with no government funding. Centenary City PLC is owned by 40 Nigerian and international investors, and our partner, Eagle Hills, is sponsored by the Sovereign Wealth Fund of Abu Dhabi, which has over $1 trillion under management. Under our agreement with the FCDA and other extant agreements, we've paid all interested holders the compensation in the Centenary City site, and we are going ahead with their relocation, which is also being supervised by the FCDA. Our partners are here today, fully supporting the project. Like the PAMSEC of the FCTA said, the president is looking forward to a speedy completion of this project, which, as planned, will provide over 100,000 construction jobs and 250,000 permanent, well-paying jobs at a cost of $18 billion, which is the largest private single foreign direct investment in Nigeria's history.
Well, as you've heard the MD of Centenary City PLC, we have done our due diligence as investors, and we're happy with the result. We cannot do due diligence into rumors. We can only do due diligence into facts. And the facts on record are good. All due process has been followed. This is a private sector investment. We as Eagle Hills were very happy to make this investment in the previous administration, and we're even happier to be here today in this administration's tenure. And we've been assured that Nigeria will always welcome foreign direct investment, and that's why we're here.
The federal government has reversed the status of the Alvanikoko University of Education to its former College of Education status. The change in status of the well-known Alvanikoko College of Education towards the tail end of the administration of President Goodluck Jonathan has generated a lot of controversy while it lasted. Imo State correspondent Ajibade Ofessor, who has been monitoring the situation, has more in this report.
The controversies surrounding the status of Alvan Ikoku University of Education Owerri and whether or not it will retain its new university nomenclature has lingered on for some time now. But a recent visit to Owerri by the leadership of the National Commission for Colleges of Education led to the revelation by its Executive Secretary, Monday Joshua, of the directive by President Muhammadu Buhari for the Commission to put on hold its elevation to a university and that of 3 others. According to him, the clarification became necessary to put an end to the current atmosphere of suspicion and confusion that has taken hold of the once peaceful institution.
But one thing is certain, the President of the nation has spoken. Whether the school is called a college or university, it belongs to the federal government. And the same federal government that converted the college to the university has said that that conversion should be put on hold. And that's why we have come, so that we give this clarification. Let it be mentioned in clear terms that the institution here in Owerri, as of this moment, is called Alvan Ikoku College of Education. And the chief executive of that institution is the provost.
Other institutions affected by the decision, according to the Executive Secretary, are Adeyemi College of Education, Ondo, Federal College of Education, Kano, and Federal College of Education, Zaria. Ajibade Awofeso, CoreTV News, Owerri.
The federal government has once again come under criticism from the Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose over the appointment of Amina Zakari as acting chairman for INEC. Fayose, while inaugurating the State Independent Electoral Commission, says the appointment of Amina Zakari is morally wrong. He added that Ekiti State is ready to conduct local government election with the inauguration of ECEC. There, however, case is still in court on the conduct of local government polls in Ekiti State, despite the PDP getting set for the polls.
I charge the federal government as well to be equitable in the composition of the federal INEC. We don't want a situation where you want to put your in-law as INEC chairperson. It is against morals, it's uncalled for, and it's not fair. And I want to say clearly, my party is ready for the election. We are popular, we are ready to work hard, and we are going to do everything possible.
The Sultan of Sokoto, Mohammed Sahad, has urged Nigerian Muslim women to support the current fight against corruption by discouraging their husbands from engaging in corrupt acts. The Sultan, while speaking at the 30th anniversary of the Federation of Muslim Women Association in Nigeria in Ilorin, noted that the change being championed in the country should start from homes for it to be positive and successful. Rashid has more in this report from Ilorin.
Filled by various Muslim women organizations across the country, including contingents from Ghana, Ivory Coast and the United Kingdom, who came to felicitate with Form 1 in their 30th anniversary. Time for speeches. The guest of honor, Sultan of Sokoto Muhammad Sa'ad Abubakar, says women must be in the vanguard of the war on corruption by discouraging their husbands from engaging in the act. He noted that Islam encourages living within one's means.
Discuss issues affecting our country. Discuss corruption. You have a big role to play. When your husband who had no power before was elected into an office, say a councillor of a local government, after 2, 3, 4 months, he started buying cars, building a house for you. You should ask him, where are you getting this money from? Is the money that he's supposed to use to make that local government better or his community that is bringing into your home? Don't follow him to enjoy that money. Question him. We must ask ourselves issues like that. We must bring the conscience of our people. If we want to change things, we must be the change we want to see in ourselves.
Kwara State Governor Abdul Fattah Ahmed in his speech says ethnic disunity and religious imbalance in the country can be traced to lack of good leaders and urged women to train their children morally and spiritually for them to be good and responsible leaders of tomorrow.
I therefore offer good governance that delivers timely benefits to the people as well as a return to traditional values of integrity, fairness, diligence, good neighborliness, and honesty espoused in Islam and indeed Christianity as solutions to the challenges that we face, especially ethnic disunity and religious intolerance.
Both leaders also called on Nigerians to ensure that the present fight against corruption is successful by speaking out against it. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ilorin.
The Nigerian Bar Association is convinced that adequate funding of anti-graft agencies and political will are the required element for a successful war against corruption. This was part of resolutions in the communique issued at the end of the one-week-long NBA Annual General Conference in Abuja. NBA President Augustine Alege, who presented a communique to journalists, ordered that lawyers who violate the rules guiding the profession would be sanctioned. Basil Okafor has more in this report presented from our studio.
The NBA 2015 annual conference attracted major players in the industry. President Muhammadu Buhari and his deputy Yemi Osinbajo were at the opening session, where the president asked the lawmakers not to truncate the cause of justice in the fight against corruption. But the lawyers say for the war against graft to be won in the country, there must be a strong political will that includes adequate funding of anti-corruption agencies.
The legal education must be equipped to tap into the gains of information and communication technology in line with existing international best practices. That the ethics of the profession should be introduced into the curriculum of law faculties in the universities. That all lawyers are to play a more effective role in national development.
NBA is equally demanding for early preparation for the 2019 general elections to avoid failure. Participants at this year's conference held the organizers for a hitch-free event.
But today we thank God, the sessions, everything perfectly chosen, the topics were properly chosen, and the resource persons were well selected. So I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed with the conference.
Considering the facilities, Abuja has the best facilities in the country. You understand? So the conference has been adjudged the best in recent times. It's a very nice conference.
The NBA may have reached several resolutions at this year's conference, but it remains to be seen if they will be implemented.
Join us after this quick break for more.
Some pundits believe that as long as the political system is driven by selected few, corruption may be difficult to fight.
You should be careful about what you say.
I am not the only politician. Even if I've wronged anyone, it is time to forgive me.
Political Arena every Sunday at 9:15 p.m. and a repeat broadcast every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m.
Welcome, and if you just joined in us, it's CoreTV News on the hour. For more of our news and information, visit our social media platform, facebook.com/CoreTV News, our Twitter handle at CoreTV News NG. You could get more on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CoreTV, live a space and news. Governor Rochas Okorocha of Imo State is set to investigate the activities of ministry heads in order to reduce to its barest minimum the embezzlement of public funds. The governor, who met with workers in the state to resolve the ongoing controversy over unpaid salaries, pointed out diverse reasons why the workers should not embark on drastic measures. Imo State correspondent Ajipatia Ofeso has more details in this report.
Settling unpaid salaries of workers is an urgent task for Governor Rochas Okorocha. The Imo State government had earlier attributed their inability to pay salaries to the fall in oil price, while also steps to pay all workers The governor today sets up a committee he called Bailout Committee to see to the payment of all salaries. In the words of labor leaders, the meeting seems to bring some calm to the struggle.
The demands of labor is with government, and none of them is participated. Number two is that you are our governor, you are our partner. If Igbo workers are hungry, they will turn to you. Labor and the entire workforce of Igbo State must partner with you for the growth and development of Igbo State. Please go on and show you.
Some of the workers present at the meeting, who are eagerly awaiting the payment of their salaries, left the venue with relief. It's however expected that the Imo State government will match words with action. Ajibade Awofeso, CoreTV News, Owerri.
Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has tasked Ife Kingmaker to make sure the next Oni is as influential as the departed Oni, Oba Okwande Shijuade. He gave this charge during his condolence visit to Ile-Ife. For the former president, Ile-Ife is the central home of the Yoruba nation, and whoever will ascend the throne of Oni must be highly influential. He noted this while he made that the succession should be fitting to consolidate on the foundation laid by Oba Okwande Shijuade during his reign. He also paid glowing tribute to the late Onirisa.
And a man who made great effort to ensure unity within this country by making sure that he has friends among traditional rulers all over the country. A man who extolled our culture beyond the borders of Nigeria.
Obasanjo came to Ife, advised us, the Royal Traditional Council members, and the elders in Ife, the allies in Ife, that we should take caution that the successor to the Oni Olubuse should be somebody that is better than what he had done.
There is a big task and a challenge to the people of Ife to ensure that the right person is picked who can fill the vacuum left behind by the late Oni of Ife. It's a Herculean task, and no God will do it. I'm confident.
Residents of the Federal Capital Territory have been speaking on the latest appointment made by President Muhammad Buhari. Some say the list is largely skewed in favor of the North, while others are of the view that sectional interests should be relegated to the background. They argue that the president has the power to appoint anyone he feels is capable in delivering on the change agenda. Pius Samuel has more.
It's one of the popular newsstands in the capital city. And for these youths, gathering here every morning is a tradition. Some of them get to the newsstand before the papers arrived on Friday morning, eager to read more about the latest presidential appointment. After reading, this is what takes place. It's clear that the new list of appointees is generating mixed reactions among Nigerians. These men are of the opinion that the appointments so far made have been too one-sided, with no regard for federal character.
The appointments have started coming, but Nigerians would rather have, an atmosphere where the appointments are spread across. It may sound a bit sentimental, but take it or leave it. There are intellectuals and people qualified, most qualified for these positions and these appointments all across the zones of this country.
I'm not so contented with the recent appointments because of the way they are structured. I don't believe that ethnic or religious bias should be greater than the country Nigeria. Nigeria should always be placed above ethnicity or tribalism or all those. But we have a federal character that works in this country. I would have been okay if there is nothing like federal character.
With this latest appointment, it's like it's, when you look at the view of people in many quarters, it's like he is biased about a section of the people.
For some, the project Nigeria must not fail. So they maintain that the president has picked people he believes will deliver. But they also want the president to tread with caution.
Buhari is the best president so far for now, on record. He's the best, and it's actually coming to salvage common Nigerians. That is just one thing I would say about him as a person. And the man himself is a credible leader, a leader that does not have corruption in his DNA. And he wants to take Nigeria to a greater height.
Well, to me, I'm satisfied. I don't see anything wrong in appointment because this is just a kitchen cabinet. You know, he wants to appoint people he thinks he can work with.
There is, however, a general sense of optimism that the present administration will bring the desired change that will better the lives of the common man. Pius Samuel, CoreTV News, Abuja.
Activist lawyer Festus Keyamo has described the criticism of the latest appointment made by President Muhammad Buhari as the orchestrated frustration of a few jobless politicians who depend only on government appointments. He also dismissed the position of the People's Democratic Party as the noise of the latest opposition party in town. He said in a statement that majority of Nigerians want to see good governance and are not bothered about the ethnic origin of those appointed into positions. Keyamo added that he is, however, worried about what he says is the decade-long general division of government positions into juicy and non-juicy, as well as the mentality that juicy positions must be shared equally among the major ethnic groups. He argued that all public positions come with an equal responsibility to be honest, forthright and dedicated, and should not be classified as juicy or non-juicy. Senate President Bukola Saraki on Friday inaugurated a 14-member ad hoc committee and power charged with the task of investigating the challenges bedeviling the sector. He maintained that only a stable and functional power sector will impact positively on the economy of the country. The Senate President also urged the committee, headed by Abubakar Yakari, to employ all legislative tools in resolving the issues in the sector.
And as such, whatever we do in trying to address the power sector is essential in trying to address our economy. The power challenges that we have are real, they are serious, and there are many. Distinguished colleagues, there's work to be done concerning our power. And that is why we recollect a few weeks back we debated seriously on all the issues in the power sector. And as following to that, we took a resolution and agreed that an ad hoc committee should be set up, charged with responsibility of oversight on some of the issues of decision taken on generation, transmission, distribution of electricity in Nigeria.
On the distribution segment, the committee is desirous of ascertaining the level of funds committed into it before privatization, since the segment is currently solely private sector driven. It calls for vigilance as successor companies are expected to bring in investments to improve the quality of services in terms of the agreement. However, signals emanating from the activities shows that excessive profiteering has been the major determinant of their decisions. It is on record that some of the distribution companies reject power load allocations to reduce cost. The metering system calls for fundamental review, since emphasis has been on estimated billings and imposition of fixed charges for services not rendered.
And it's a wrap on CoreTV News at this hour. Thank you so very much for watching. My name is Omotayo Alo. Bye for now.